Hey guys, my name is Amy and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic.
Amy.
I'm just super grateful. Just want to thank my higher power for another day, waking up sober another day and hopefully the rest of the day. Thinking back, just to give you a bit of history, I grew up, I had brothers and sisters, mom and dad, I came from a well-to-do family, I never wanted for anything. But somehow in all of that, like, it wasn't enough. You know, I had all the love in the world and everything, and for me that wasn't enough. Growing up, school, somehow I got through school. I didn't make friends very easily. I had a birth defect which I looked different to other people, and you know, when someone doesn't know something, well, in my experience, when someone doesn't know the story behind it, they kind of like stay away, and I thought, well, they're staying away, so I'm going to stay away type of thing, you know, you don't fit and I don't fit. And yeah, I'm more creative, I'm not academic. And yeah, the behavior and the denial started very young. I picked up my first drink at 12. And then before that, my dad, he would have a beer every night, and obviously he would give me like a shot of whatever was left. And I mean, now I see in hindsight that's not normal behavior. And yet, when I started doing my steps all those years later, I resented him for doing that. But yes, that behavior wasn't okay, but at the same time, I'm the one that's going to be pouring this beer at 4 or 5 years old, you know what I mean? So, school, fast forward, school was difficult. Like I say, I'm more creative, I wasn't really interested. Come high school, I was in a mainstream school. I was very lucky to go to decent schools. Then I changed to work from home, homeschooling, and I kind of felt like, okay, I can do this, because the system was you work at your own pace, and you know, if you don't put in the work, you're not going to move to the next grade kind of thing. And I'm super grateful for that. However, my drinking had really started, I think, from about the age of 17. Yeah, it was fun and clubbing, all that sort of thing. And when I had alcohol and any other substance in my system, I felt like, geez, this is amazing. Like, where have you been all my life type of thing, you know, that insanity of believing that the alcohol was doing this to me. And I felt like I fitted in, and like there was no social anxiety, all of that fell away, you know, when I picked up a drink. And for me, it was never just one or two, it was always sort of 6 or 7, and then see where the rest of the night goes type of thing. And there were stages where it wasn't bad, and then there were stages where it was just like blackout, driving from one place to another in total blackout. Say from Durban to Umhlanga, or half an hour drive, you know, not knowing how I got there, you know, if I killed anyone or putting other people's lives in danger. You know, I didn't think of all of that. I was completely selfish, self-centered, you know, and I can still turn back to that person if I'm not working my program. I must be honest. And through, I think I was 19 at the time, I had a massive reconstructive op on my face, which my parents flippin' like bent over backwards for me to afford to do this operation. So I'd feel better on the outside. The outside was perfect, but inside I was a freaking mess. Honestly, like, the outside didn't match the inside, you know, and that's kind of how I felt all my life, because here's this image, you know, and nothing ever really matched. Relationships with guys, they were faulty from the start, from my part as well as their part. I never kept relationships very long. Most of it was centered around, you know, sex, drugs and rock and roll and alcohol. You know, so from there, leaving school, yeah, you know, like I'm a legal eagle, I'm driving, you know, all this kind of thing, and, you know, everyone's happy for me, but it's kind of bittersweet, because my behavior only progressed after that. The alcoholism, my disease progressed so badly, from blackout drinking to on weekends, to drinking every day, to picking up other substances in between, you know. And I didn't see the wood through the trees, if that makes sense, you know. It was just kind of me. This is what I want, I'm going to get it, I'm going to do whatever I can step over whoever I can to get what I want, you know, and like a tornado just going through people's lives, my family, just causing massive damage, you know, and that I only really saw when I started doing my step work in treatment. So yeah, from 2009 to, yeah, it was that year or the year after, I ventured out to find out about my biological family because I'm adopted as well, and that's something that I drank on. I drank because I was bored. I drank because I was alone or lonely. And I drank just also because at the end, that's all I wanted to do, because that gave me that sense of ease and comfort, you know, and I didn't have to take responsibility for anything because I was incapable as well. You know, and I thought this was the perfect alibi to get through life, you know, and when things started getting really hectic toward my mid-20s, I can remember the last time I picked up a drink, it's, 2017, somewhere around there, and I'd just broken up with my boyfriend in Joburg. Oh yeah, bearing in mind I did the whole geographical thing, Durban, Joburg, and it was always for a guy, or because I wanted to get away, or this isn't working for me, or, you know, you're doing this, and always looking at other people, not ever looking at myself, you know. And one thing I've learned in recovery is wherever I go with me, you know, and that's something that I never saw until doing my steps, you know. And yeah, the last time I picked up a drink, I can remember it as clear as day. I just moved back in with my mom. She organised me a job interview went well, and I thought, this is the time to celebrate, you know, get whatever I needed, whatever. And by the end of it, I was passed out in my mom's new neighbour's yard, just totally and utterly, like, again, opened my eyes and I'm like, I've done it again. And this time it was different. I can't explain it to you, but it was like, this has to stop now. Like, enough is enough. And I literally had to call to my mom because I was too gone to walk anywhere. And I just saw that look on her face for the 100,000th time, you know, and like, what do I do? Like, I've got no more lives, no more backup plan, no more side stash, you know, none of that. I had nothing inside me. You know, and the family got together and said, look, you need help, and we're going to get you help, and you're going to go and you're going to get help, because you cannot keep doing this to your family, and you cannot keep doing this to yourself. You know, you're causing huge havoc, you know, and I had no words. I spent the next 3 days lying in bed going, just please kill me. Like, I really wanted to end now. Like, this is enough. Throw me on the street, do whatever you have to do, but like, please God, like, it's not working for me anymore. And that was the Saturday. The Monday, I was very fortunate to go to a treatment centre where I was introduced to the program properly, and I went to meetings. I spent 4 months there. How can I say, it was the best 4 months of my life, but also the freaking worst 4 months of my life. Those concern groups were something else. But in hindsight, I know that's the experience I needed to have, and I'm very grateful, because I had to sort my nonsense out. I had to find out who I am. I had to see the damage that I'd caused, you know, doing step 4, etc., and believing in a higher power. My family was Christian, you know, we did the church thing and everything, and yeah, somehow there was a little tiny concept of God, sort of, but it was always, okay, please get me out of the situation, you know. And today I'm grateful that that has changed, only through working the program, sponsored steps, doing the next right thing, and coming out of treatment at that stage. And at that stage I was also like, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Like, I was ready, like, whatever I need to do, just tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it to the best of my ability. You know, so moving from treatment straight into the big wide world, there wasn't exactly a halfway house for girls that there is now. So yeah, it was quite an experience, and yeah, my dad had taken me to treatment. Sorry. He'd taken me to treatment, and he also took me out of treatment. He came to fetch me, and and yeah, from there, and I knew he wanted to go for lunch. I knew there would be beers and whatever, and I was okay with that because that's how my dad was, you know. And fast forward like a couple of weeks, it was suggested to me to get a job, a very humbling job, at a restaurant here in Scotland. Not something that I ever thought of doing, but I thought, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. This is life now, you know, I've got to follow suggestions. And so I did that for a couple of months, and I changed sponsors from treatments. And yeah, bless her, she was a brilliant sponsor. But at the end of it, it just kind of, I became sort of complacent, and it just didn't really work. And she suggested to me, well, if you can think of someone, either you can work with me or think of somebody else that you want to ask to be your sponsor. And yeah, I approached Yvonne, and I'm super grateful. She's an absolute amazing sponsor. She told it like it is, and she also encouraged me on a daily basis, you know, and that's a therapeutic value that I find, as well as making new friends and that type of thing. So, sorry, going back to, so I worked at this restaurant, waitering, and just really getting back into society, and experiencing feelings and all types of things, you know, and just how reality is without having a drink in my system or any other substance in my system, you know. And through the support of the fellowship and coming to meetings, doing my 90 meetings in 90 days, it was, 2019, my dad fell very ill, and obviously we knew he had cancer, but obviously he didn't want to go to the doctor, but we could all see and know that there was something wrong. And beginning of 2020, fortunately I was able to see him a lot. I drove up to Nottingham Road where he was, and then he moved to down the coast. And for the last 18 months of his life, I was able to be a daughter, you know, without alcohol being around and without any other motive other than to say, hey Dad, how are you, you know, and make it about him and take him for a ciggy and do all those things that I would never have thought of doing before. And I know there's friends in this room that have taken me to visit him, which I'm forever grateful. And Mum and I had driven from Durban to Toti to fetch him because the place where we were staying, I said, look, we can't take care of him anymore. So we had to find a place. We found a place in Inanda, and it was just so kind of like surreal because we dropped him off, we filled out all the paperwork and stuff, and Dad and I had a ciggy and everything, and it was just weird, like how, like, this is a place where people go when they're like literally on their last leg. And it kind of became very real for me, and then I was able to be there for Mum as well. I mean, she's going through absolute turmoil as well, losing her husband. My brother and sister are overseas at the time, you know, so all I can do is just help where I can, you know, and be a daughter, be a sister, which was never possible before, you know. And it was the Wednesday afternoon, my mum phoned and said he's gone. You know, just like that, boom. And for me, initially, I was like, why? You know, I mean, I knew why, but, you know, and that's the other thing that this program has allowed me to do, and sponsor suggestions and friends in the fellowship sending me recovery readings about grief and like how it kind of has to go sort of thing. It's your own process, you know. If you're angry, you've got to feel it. If you cry, you have to work through it. You cannot bottle that inside. I mean, that's what I used to do with my feelings, and today I have freedom to feel my feelings, you know, within reason, you know. And so that was tough. That was the beginning of 2020. Then obviously lockdown happened and things changed, meetings went online, and still I had to keep coming back to my program, regular contact with my sponsor, trying to do the next right thing, trying to improve myself. And I've had amazing experiences in recovery, like going for coffee, going into like rock pools and like shouting and throwing my hands in the air and going like absolutely crazy, you know, good sober fun, you know. So it hasn't all been doom and gloom. But then from my dad passing, my youngest brother's other brother, his dad passed away a month later. Then my preschool friend's father passed away 2 months later. Then a very close family friend, shame she also passed away in the October. Then another close family friend passed away, I think 2 weeks later. And then, yeah, so it was just kind of one death after the next. And I'm like, this is like getting a bit much now. But through having a new understanding and a new way of program, I was able to do it. I mean, any alcoholic can't do anything without a program, you know, otherwise I'm still that faulty human being that does what she wants, etc. And yeah, so that was quite a heck of a year, as it was for most people, but you know, being there for my mom as well, because these are friends of hers, never mind they were part of my journey. They were friends of hers, you know, and yeah, just keeping her, you know, at the forefront and being there for her, obviously allowing myself to feel my feelings and do what I need to do. So yeah, that was 2020. I had found work prior in the December 2019 till the January, so I was very lucky to find that work, and she said she will phone me back when she has guests for the B&B, because I was doing her admin work. So obviously with COVID, it's, yeah, not so good. But yeah, this week I found out another school friend of mine said he's willing to take me on, so I'm going to start work next week. You know, and there's been times where I haven't had employment, but thank God, through I think at least 18 months of my recovery, I've had work. I've been able to hold down a job. Before, I think a job would last a month or a week, and then things would just unfold and just go the total opposite direction. So yeah, 2021 has definitely been a better year. You know, and just finding gratitude at the end of the day. You know, my sponsor always says it's always down to gratitude. And I can forget that so easily when like life's happening and, you know, and things like looking for work and all of that. I can lose gratitude. But then I have to get on my knees in the morning and the evening. That's something I learned in treatment, and today I still do it because I believe it works, you know. And there's different things, especially with friends coming and going, and like moving from Scotborough. Sorry, I'm going backwards. Moving from Scotborough, I'd worked for a financial advisor for about 7 months after I'd worked at the restaurant. Then I had to move back to Durban because my mum lost her job, so I had to move back to Durban. And yeah, it just kind of unfolded from there, like no matter what happens. And I mean, Durban is where most of my active life was, and it was quite something to kind of go back there to that same room, to that same house, but with a new perspective, thanks to the program. And thank you to my higher power, really. You know, I'm still able to function in that old environment, you know. And I've had to let go of a lot of people in the beginning in my early recovery. That was suggested to me. Another thing which I really do need to work on is my friendships at the moment. This is something that I'm going through where I need to just be more assertive, I think, possibly. When it comes to people, you know, where I'm giving so much or they're giving so much and I'm not giving anything, you know, toward the friendship. Yeah, I've recently had to let 2 sponsors go, which was quite an eye-opener for me, because, you know, I just want to help, I want to be of service, you know, and there's certain things that don't happen, and then I just want to help them, even though they're not doing what they need to do. I mean, they knew. And yeah, with my sponsor's guidance, I had to let them go, so that wasn't really very easy, but it's, it's something that needed to happen. So yeah, today is completely different to a couple of Just for Todays, and I'm super grateful that I don't have to run, I don't have to drink, I can be present. My brother and sister, my older brother and sister-in-law are back in my life. You know, I'm an aunt now to their son, which is something I would never have taken notice of. You know, I would have just been, sorry, I'm going out. You know, like, sorry, little dude. Like, you know, you're not my responsibility, there's your mum. You know, which is terrible, it's awful. And through just building that relationship and, you know, kind of realizing, hey, I actually do enjoy this, you know, like the little 4-year-old that's turning 40, I think. And yeah, so just having that ability to make those amends, really. And my mom is my number one amends on a daily basis. And yeah, moving in back with her, I said to my sponsor, like, we're clashing. This was in the very early days, like, we're clashing. I don't know what's going on, what's happening. And she said to me something very simple. She's like, and your mom is getting used to you. Like, she has her daughter back. You know, for like the last however many years, she hasn't had a daughter. Like, you know, you've got to take that into consideration. Just like I have to take into consideration, like, this is my mom now, you know, and just building that relationship from there. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. It works if you work it, and it is possible. That's what I want to say. Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks, Amy.